Flying back around again.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Shuffle podcast. Today we have here Marktore from Spain. Hello, Mark.
Let's go. What's happening? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo tú estás?
Estamos bien. We're great.
Talking English this time. I always talk with you in Spanish, but this time we're going to do it in English. So
In Spanglish.
in Spanglish, brother.
Okay, so you're very known in the Shuffle community. You've been in the game for a long time, specifically in the cutting shape style. There's a lot of people who knows you for that. So let's start from the beginning. Who is Marktore? Where's this name coming from? And how do you get started on shuffling? So explain us a little bit, how were your beginnings on shuffling?
Okay, let's start with this. A little bit of my history. So first we're going to start with my name. Like the nickname of Marktore, it's just because when I was a kid, my friends in the school was like because my uncle every time he catch me on school, he said to me like, you are like Toretto, and one friend just hear that and say like, you are Toretto, like, because every time with his dog I was playing, and you know the name just says me like Toretto, and one friend just listened that and he said like, wow, Toretto, Tore, and then every kid in the school starts like calling me Tore, and yeah, that was my nickname for like forever. Then when I start on Instagram, I start with Marktore, so that's the reason of that name. But then it start to make sense more with dance. So later I will tell you my characters in dance and that things. But that's my history in the nickname. And then I start dancing in maybe summer 2014. It was that time when I just saw a video of one guy on a festival dancing, and I was like, whoa, what was that? I wanted to dance like him, you know? That was crazy for me because it was like, whoa, I wanted to dance like him. That was so crazy for me. It did impact me a lot. Like, I just want to be like him. And then I start searching searching on Google internet like videos of festivals shuffling. Well, I didn't know what was shuffling on the time. So because when I just look for shuffle, I only found like Melbourne shuffle, but it wasn't the style that I like it. So then I found Simon Bowles and Lucky Lawless, and it was like, wow, okay, this is the style I like. So then I started learning a little bit on my own, but I was really bad doing movements, really bad. Like in 4 months, I just learned 2 steps maybe. So yeah, it was so bad. But my motivation was so high, and like, so I was starting to dance and trying to learn running man, crisscross at the beginning. So that was my beginnings in the style. I just saw a video on internet and I just tried to dance, but I'm so bad. So on that time, I just meet some people that not were dancers, but people that know steps, like Jorge and Michelo. That I just met that people that like to dance, just making some steps. So we share that steps and we start like dancing together. I just teach what I know, and they just teach me what they know. So this is my start making my first group of shuffling, or my first dance crew. And yeah, this was my beginnings, like just knowing a little bit of steps. In 2015, I start like sharing a lot, just filming videos and sharing on Instagram, like just my journey, because it was a lot of fun and I just love it. So then in 2016, I start going more deep into sharing videos and looking for dancers, and then I just found Guerrero Ja, that this was for me the first guy that was shuffle cutting shaping in that time in Spain, and it was like whoa. Well, in the beginning, we started speaking in English because we thought that we are from different countries and things like that. But then we realized that we are in the same country and in the same place, like Barcelona. It was like what? Like you speaking Spanish? Okay, so this was the first beginnings of knowing people that dance cutting shapes in my country. So then I meet Guerrero on 2016. I remember it was on April, and we made the first video and the first choreo, and we shared it, and it was a lot of fun because in that time I have the dance crew of Jorge and Mikelo, and then Anderson Jovan, Fayaminku, and then he presents me Chuflis, and then we start like knowing each other. So this was the first people I meet in dance. So then it was like my beginnings of dancing. I started learning a lot. And then in 2017, I just started working a lot in other jobs. And I started like university. So this was a point in my life that dance was a lot of passion for me, but I have to work and I don't have time to dance because I have to pay my university. So it was that point in my life that you want to dance, but if you dance, you can just make money with dance and you can pay the university and you will be like homeless. Not like this, but it was like, come on, what I can do with my life.
You'll have no money if you do dance only.
Exactly. So it was hard for me because I didn't say that, but I start teaching in 2016 when I just start dancing in one place that is near my house that is just a room for like young people.
Yeah, it's a youth center.
Exactly, a young center. So at that time, I didn't know nothing about dance. Like I was teaching what I know, but I don't know how to teach. It was so stressful, but so many people was like, "Come on, teach me, teach me, teach me," every weekend. And I was like, "Okay, I will start, but I don't know like how to teach. Like I just do that, and I don't know what was the name of the step. So I started like this teaching. And okay, so at going back to 2017, that was the time when I was teaching dance and I was working at pizza, Telepizza, and I was working on a company as a commercial for companies on the light, making contracts and these kind of things. And in the weekends, I was working as a dancer on a club. So it was like 4 jobs, to try to pay my university and just only live with dance because every time I was going to work every morning and I put my earphones because every time I go anywhere I'm with music, and every morning was like on the metro thinking about, come on, what I'm doing with my life. I only want to dance. Like for me, dance is my thing, that my reason for living. Because I hate doing pizzas. No, I don't hate doing pizzas, but it's not funny. I don't enjoy it. I don't like doing commercial things, So I just work a lot to reach that goal to pay the 1 year university, and then I just drop out every job to focus on dance. And it was like in 2017 at third summer, maybe September, October, and the people in the job of commercial things, they told me like, you're not going to do it because life is so hard and these kind of things. And I and I was like, okay, I will show you the things I can do. Like, and so yeah, I just drop out jobs and focus on dance. And in 1 year, I start like having a little money with dance, so I can just pay the monthly payment of university, so I can live with dance. And for me, it was like, wow, like yeah, finally I can just live with dance. Only focusing on dance.
Yeah, because like at this time you were living with your family, and you only had like these things to pay because you were paying the university yourself, but you
Yeah.
didn't have like rent or
Yeah.
food. So this was allowing you with this little money pay the university and keep dancing.
Exactly. So I was so lucky that I don't have rent or these kind of things that because now it's impossible. Like in the beginnings, in the early beginnings, it's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then at 2018 changed my life in dance because for me is when dance make more sense like in the term of in concept of professionality, like in knowing how to be a dancer, in learning a lot the skills in like
Mm-hmm.
how to be professional, like because you can dance and you can have passion in I don't know in dance, but if you don't know how it works, how you can help people dance if you don't know how it works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then when I started meeting Chuflis, you, and so many people, electro dancers, hip hop dancers, then I found Paradox that helped me a lot to understand dance. My mindset just changed and I
Mm-hmm.
started to learn a lot in dance. So I think that 2018 was the year that I just started professionally knowing how to dance and just leveling up, my dance and
Mm-hmm.
my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So then with social media, I started doing professional things. Like when I just drop out my jobs, then I made my first viral video that was making a video for Don Diablo that was changing the background and doing professional stuff with Nightstick. That then I meet a Nightstick that helps me to do a lot of crazy ideas into reality. So yeah, that was my journey in the last 3 years that I just start doing things and learning a lot, more knowledge, more professional things, creating content. And then in 2019, you remember we travel a lot and we make a lot of things together. I just um, joined you, like, ¿cómo se dice pan? Te invité, bueno, te uní al grupo.
Yeah,
So,
you joined the group.
yeah. You and Chuflis to join the Necti crew, and we make a level up, and we start doing a lot of crazy things like shows, festivals, doing a lot of masterclass for a lot of people. So that was
Mm-hmm.
the year that I just grow a lot too.
Yeah.
And then at the 2020, it was all pause for the fucking COVID.
2020 it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. But yeah, this is a little bit the summary of my journey. But I just made a lot of crazy things, working with a lot of brands, being a choreographer for Shakira, for example, that was like crazy for me, crazy
we'll
opportunity.
we'll talk about that later. So be
Okay,
calm.
okay. So yeah, that's my journey in dance.
Okay, so for everybody who's listening and didn't know much about Mark's life, now you do. It's like like your friend. Now you know everything
Yeah.
he's been through. Okay, so let's go back to the beginnings
Okay.
and let's talk a little bit about cutting shapes in specific because there
Okay.
are a lot of things, a lot of information now is coming out and a lot of people is getting interested in cutting shapes, origins, who was the people who was dancing, who was getting inspiration from. So what people were you seeing dancing cutting shapes in the UK? Because you were inspired by the people in the UK. You named
Yes.
Simon Bowles, Lucy Lawrence, who were people that were dancing in the UK. With this, they were in the classes of Cassidy Chaps, who has already been here in the podcast. So, what people were you looking to get inspiration from?
Okay, for me, my biggest inspiration in cutting shapes was Simon Bowles because I just love it, his style. Like, I think that if I didn't see Simon, like nowadays, I, I, hostia, ¿cómo se dice? No estaría bailando.
Yeah, you wouldn't be dancing.
I wouldn't be dancing. So that was the for me my biggest inspiration at the beginnings, Simon Bowles, and then I just found Cassidy, Lucy Lawless, Dom Simpson, and a lot of dancers in UK that inspired me a lot, and yeah, that was my first inspirations to start
Mm-hmm.
dancing in cutting shapes.
Mm-hmm. And was the people around you, Guerrero, Anderson, Jorge, Mikelov, all these people were already, they were seeing these videos too? They were looking to these people?
Yeah.
Or it was you who was looking to them and then share like the ideas or the steps? Like, how was this process?
The process of inspiration, like if of my friends or outside, like Simon Bowles, you mean?
Yeah, like was everybody in this group looking to Simon Bowles,
Oh,
Lucy, Cassidy, or they were looking to different people to get
I think that
inspiration?
they were looking at different people. Like for me, was Simon Bowles the biggest inspiration, but I think that a little bit of like few people in my crew was looking for other dancers, or maybe in the same crew. Like we do have a lot of inspiration in ourselves, in our close dance crew. So I think that in the beginnings, UK dancers was an inspiration, but I think that we all get inspired like together. For example, I get inspired a lot in the beginnings with Guerrero, because for me was the guy that have a lot of level in that moment. So it was like, whoa, like Guerrero is really hard dancing, and it was like, oh, you know. So I
Oh,
learned
this
a lot.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sharing a lot. Like Fire for me, in the beginnings, he was so creative. Like I think that now he's so creative. Like his dance for me is like different from each other's. So Fire was a lot of smooth movement, a lot of flow, a lot of creativity, musicality. So yeah, that was so inspiring in the beginning for me. Like my crew is so inspirational, and the dancers from UK too. So it was a mix of all the things that we grew up.
And this is always well, now people is trying to find this information, but how are you taking cutting shapes now? Because when you see it now, you see that people who was dancing in the UK and people who was dancing in Spain, they were dancing like different. Spanish was kind of more aggressive because the future house music and all these things.
Exactly.
And people who were not in Spain, they were looking at Spain saying, "Oh, Spain has like a different style of shapes, like Spanish shapes." And I know because I live here that in Spain nobody was talking about a Spanish style. You were just
Yeah.
like dancing and say, "Yeah, we cut shapes. Like this is it. We take the ideas, the inspiration, and we do it like ourselves." But like, how were you taking cutting shapes? Like, were you conscious that you were kind of changing the way of the cutting shapes that was done, or you were just taking the ideas and just dancing, like with no consciousness about that?
It was weird because in when I started dancing, I was dancing in like not another style but different. When I start dancing, because when I saw the inspiration in UK, the UK is more groovy, more not aggressive movement. So more smooth. When I saw Simon Bowles, he's so groovy, But then I started on my own doing like more aggressive steps with hard music. Like I was starting to dance really fast, like fast shapes,
Yeah.
on my own. So I started recording with fast songs, and then it was like kind of my style that I started with because I was dancing to fast music. um, I think that this was the part that I started to create my own style with this kind of music, because I was dancing to music that in London they didn't dance to that music. So yeah, and then I started to dance a lot, and with Guerrero and all the crew trying to, okay, if we put this step and this step fast, okay, we can make like this kind of combo. So then it was like, okay, let's mix this step with this step, but there's no terms, there is no regulation that like there's nothing writing,
Yeah, there's no
like you
rules.
exactly, there's no rules, like you put this step and this step, and it fits with the music. Okay, let's do it. So yeah, this was when I started creating like my own style, from to say that, like. And yeah, we start changing this style because we start dancing a lot of future house, because music have a lot of relation with dance. Music change, style maybe change, like it's so important, music with dance, because in our history in shuffling, well, like the music have so much importance, because depending of what music it is, you dance one style, or
Yeah,
so
it's more, you tend to go more to
exactly, you tend.
to hard styles or to more like chilling styles.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, in Spain we start like a trend, like dancing that deep house or maybe future house songs, and do it like fast movements and a lot of combos, spins. But it was like a really cool style for me. It was like an era that just liked me a lot. Like I love it. But we don't know nothing about dance, you know. We were just dancing and just having fun doing the fucking same. But it was so fun.
And you know, there was this thing in Spain, the combos, that they started being like very cool. If you didn't know the combos, you were like out of the game. But then there was a point that it was the opposite. People who still were dancing with combos, they were like, "Man, you're getting behind. You're falling
Yeah,
behind, and
yeah.
you need to get out of the combos." So like you also went through this stage of doing a lot of combos and then noticing, okay, so dance, if you really want to dance properly and want to improve, you need to get out of this just combos. Combos are not
Mm,
bad on itself. It's bad if
mm,
you just dance with combos and you're dancing the same movements, the
mm.
same with every song. So the song, it doesn't make a difference because you already have the pre-cooked combos and everything. So how was this
Exactly.
process to you, and how do you think it affected the community? Because it's quite a it's quite a thing, because
Yeah,
it went from here, combos were here, and then they were here.
yeah. No, but it was a slap for me in the face. Like, come on, like you have to learn how to dance. Like, because I want to express myself in in different ways, and I can't because I don't know how to fucking dance like well. You know, like I was doing the same, and I was like, no, stop, don't repeat the same moves. Try to create something, but I don't have any tools to do it. You know, and it was so stressful, so stressful. Like, okay, like I have to see all the dancers or something, and then but it was so difficult for me at the beginnings, like get out of combos, or because you don't know how to dance, like really, like you're dancing and you know how to do movements, but you can express like 100% maybe, because it's like language for me, like it's the language of movement for me. Dance is language of movement, and it's so hard when you only know words and you want to express something, but you only know that word, so it's hard. Like, but then and one thing that I have to say, like in 2018, Jordi and me and Anderson Jovan and my whole crew, started to have a lot of influence in the social media. So that was funny because a combo we made, combo people do. And it was like a religion, like we make a combo, and other people like doing the combo, and it was like, what the fuck? But
God Marktore has spoken. Let's copy.
no, but it was so funny because we started like being an influence for people in dance, and it was so like for me, I feel so good, that I can be an influence for people. But then you have to know that if you're an influence, you have to influence good,
Yeah, you
that's when
you have to do it positive, in a positive way.
exactly.
But
So then it's
it's kind of difficult because sometimes you don't know if you're doing it right or wrong. Like maybe you're doing something wrong, but you don't know that you're doing it wrong until someone comes to you and says, "Hey, this is wrong," and you realize that this is wrong. Because there
yeah.
was a lot of people who they were told that combos weren't that useful. Like you can use it, but not all the time. And they were saying, "No, no, no! Like you don't know. Combos are good." And you would say to
Mm.
people, combos are not useful, and they would come like so worried, saying, why, like why are they not useful? Like they were seeing in danger all their dance career because they would only know combos, and outside of
Yeah.
that they didn't know how to do anything. So they were like with the hands on their head and like,
Okay.
how, no combos,
Yeah.
how am I going to
Yeah.
dance? And this is where
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
say, okay, we need to do some work here. So
Exactly.
you were talking about growth, and I wanted to talk to you about that. So let's jump to this topic.
Okay.
You grew a lot in a very early stage of shuffle in Instagram. Like we can say that you were one of the first persons alongside Guerrero, Anderson, Mark Fingers, and other people like from other countries. But here it was like a big growth of several people, you among them. And how did you manage this in the beginnings? Because shuffling on Instagram, it wasn't a thing. Like it had been a thing on YouTube,
Yeah.
but not in Instagram, and you were kind of starting the videos and the
Yes.
and shuffle being viral and cutting shapes being viral in specific. So how is this stage of growth and getting, you know, the first 10k, 20k, 50k in a very early stage? Because
Yeah.
right now, like, the growth of everyone has slowed down, but in the early
Hmm.
stage you grew a lot. So
Yes.
how was this like in this early stage? Like, what were you doing, and what was kind of, well, we will talk about like strategy later, but
Hmm.
how did you start to feel and manage this growth in this early stage?
Well, at the beginning, it was fun because it started all with because I was following pages that repost current shapes videos. So I was following all the pages, for inspiration, to just know dancers. And then because I was talking to that pages a lot, they started seeing me dancing and they started reposting me videos.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, like thanks, like I'm now part of the community. Um, and then it was like so weird for me because when I start like sharing videos, I just have 700 followers
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, and then boom, in 1 month, I have 1,000. Like, and it was like what, like what people are following me, like okay, it's okay, it's okay. So yeah, from
Which year was that?
2014,
2014.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like I remember I have 700, and then in final December 2014 I reached I think 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started 2015 with 1,000, and then it cost me like 2 years to reach I think 2 years and a half to reach 10K, because just was sharing videos, and then I grow like a little bit, but
So
so slowly
Well,
at the
so
beginning.
it was progressive. It wasn't like a peak of, okay, in 1 week you gained 8,000. It was like
Yeah,
very little by little, very slow.
yes, it
Okay.
was really slow at the beginning, but then I have peaks that I was just
Mm-hmm.
uh, so But the thing was that in the 2016, I just reached 10K because I made a video with Elisa Poelmans
Mm-hmm.
that like it, that people like it a lot, and I started growing more. So from 10K to 50K, it was a challenge because it cost me like 2 more years
Mm-hmm.
to reach it. But then from 50K to 100K, it cost me like less than a year, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it was like a snowball, that then I started making videos and going viral because Kanisei was a lot of trend in 2018, and so boom,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of followers, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. But my 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 style, my lifestyle changed when people start like recognizing me on streets, and it was like, wow, like what the fuck. It was so crazy because I remember the first, well, not the first person, or yes, I don't know, that recognized me outside of my country. In 2017, I was traveling to Amsterdam for Ade and to meet Don Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was waiting for the Don Diablo to know him, one people say, "Hey, you are that guy," and he showed me my Instagram, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like, yeah, I'm that guy, and can you take a photo? And I was like, in that time was like, what? Like one guy just recognized me on Amsterdam, and just for me was that, wow, like what social media can do, like have a lot of
Yeah.
visualization, and a lot of recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then when I start recording more videos, doing content, like I feel like a creative content in when I started doing professional things.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just started growing, 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 and till now, like doing a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So, like, how you say it, it looks like very natural in the beginnings, you know, slowly, slowly, slowly. And which moment, like, let's which moment would you highlight, and that you did something that was kind of maybe, I don't know, 10k peak, or did it happen to you like this? Like, what's the most followers you gained in the shortest amount of time, and what did you do? Like, what did it happen? It was a collaboration with some artists like Don Diablo, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
what was
For
that?
me, my peak was on 2018 when I just start uploading festival videos that it just go viral. And I reach a lot of people that follow me. When I start making trends, dancing trends, like this was so viral too, and
Which
collaborating with dancers too.
which trends?
Like with Lydia, I met a trend. You
Ah,
know,
yeah, okay, okay.
and it reached I don't know a lot of views, million views on a lot of people, and they start
Yeah, a
following
million
me.
views on a post, on an Instagram post.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's not Reels or TikTok. With
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
was 3 years ago or something like this.
Exactly. So when I started making trends and doing things with couple festival things, then is when I blow up and boom,
And
a lot of.
but and like, do you have a number of how many followers did you gain? Like, for example, I posted this video, and in 2 days or in 3 days, I gained, I don't know,
I
like,
think with one video, I remember that in 2 days, 4K. I gained. So it was a lot for me. Like
that's a
in a
lot.
few days, that's a lot. That's a lot. In a few days, 4K was like, wow,
Well,
So
like, when this year when we were in Madrid, like, we were seeing Erika Gutierrez from Miami. She did a video with Rampage from this
mm,
one, with the slides, with kind of the moonwalk in the same place, and she went from 10k or 20k to 100, like, in 1 week.
it's crazy.
We were like, every day we were seeing her account like 5 more k or 10 more
Yeah,
k, and we were like, what the fuck is happening here?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy when you have a viral video because you grow a lot. Like every day, a lot of
Yeah.
because yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I imagine in the beginnings, you were like doing it kind of because you like dancing, like, you always like dancing. But I imagine that when you start growing and you start saying that this is more serious, or that you're getting brand deals or all these things, you need more kind of a strategy, or a kind of profile that matches kind of a standard that you were kind of setting for yourself. So, what was your strategy when you started to being more aware of what you were doing, because you were growing a lot, and this can be a big source of income to you? So, did you have at some point some strategy for the content, or you were just having ideas and posting?
Okay, good question. Like in dancing, I always have really crazy ideas, and for me, at the beginning was like I love this song. Let's dance this song. But then when I started thinking and creating professional content, I just go more like leveling up this kind of professional content. So my management, it's like when I just think about crazy ideas, I just write it down in a note. And when I have the idea clearly, I just talk with my filmmaker, with Nightstick, or with someone that I can just create this idea into reality, and I just made it. Like my only lack in content is that I'm not really consistent. Now I have really, well, maybe consistent, not at all, but because I do this because I love it. Like so because I love it, I don't want to create something new every day, because I can be creative every day. I can make trends every day, and it's okay because it's so easy. But it's so hard to create a really good piece of content that it's professional, that have an idea, that have a feeling, that that I want to transmit one message with the video. So it's hard to create a really good piece of content. And when I just create content, I really work on it. Like when they saw a video that it looks cool for me. That cool. It's maybe paying two travels to Madrid, because the first time I just filmed to Madrid was wrong, and we don't have all the footage, so we have to go back to Madrid and have spent 20 hours doing the video for a minute video. So that it's a cool video for me. It's a lot of work for me and for my team, for Nastic, for example, that like spend hours in editing, and I spend hours moving through city and creating that piece, you know. So there are things in content that it's so hard to create, and then you make one piece, and there are sometimes that I just create a trend and it goes viral and 1 million. I think, what the shit, bro! Like I just made really hard content and they don't go viral, but it's okay for me. It's okay because I do it with love, and I just want to create the pieces because it's like, for me it's an art content, like create art with visuals and create art with dance, and I try to.
And you know, right now, you did kind of this choreo, like not very seriously, just for having this choreo recording, but this choreo we made with Jorge, and that
Money in the grave.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It just goes
you know,
viral, and
like
it's like,
where the fuck should I really even start?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like we done this video, like okay, let's do it, and you were
Yeah.
just creating like, okay, let's put this step and this one, this other one,
Yeah,
and then I was like, I wasn't even going to do this video, and then I was like talking with some friends, and I was like, okay, how many times do you think I can learn this choreo? And I was like 2 or 3 minutes to learn it. And because it was so funny, because there was some people struggling to learn the choreo, and I was like, okay, let's do it fast. And I was
Yeah. I remember you were sitting and saying, I can do it in the first attempt. And I was like, if you do it, I will pay you 500 euros.
And I almost did it, but I didn't do it at first time. I did maybe second or third.
Yeah, but you miss some steps at the first, but then you make it so.
Yeah. Okay. But like this choreo, it was to have fun. And now everybody's doing it. Like I'm getting almost every day someone who's doing it and tagging us. So like it's very curious. It's very curious.
Yeah,
like I didn't expect that this choreo to go.
Yeah, like I was doing it because I started with Anderson, like, okay, let's do this trend. This trend, like, let's do some choreo with that song. And I started creating, and then with Jose, and I was like, oh, if we add this and that, and the choreo, you know, I made it in 20 minutes or so, you know. And
yeah, it's really short and easy. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
is this like, for me, simple and easy things are the success, you know, are the things that's going viral.
Okay, let's talk about another very interesting thing about social media, which is landing brands, or getting collaboration, or getting these brand deals that can give you money through social media. And to you, how do you value yourself? So like two things. How do you value yourself? So what things do you look at when you're trying to land a brand? Or because maybe you say, okay, I'm charging this for this collaboration because I have, for example, I don't know, I'm inventing follower count, or the quality of the content. Like what things do you have in mind? So when you charge to the brands, and what different things can you charge for, like stories, maybe post, reels? And then the second question is, how important is to you that dancers have this self-appreciation and value what they are doing? Because we can see a lot of people charging like very low fees for collaboration. Maybe people with 50K, 100K charging very, very low money. And then people with less followers, maybe they can't charge that because they can get these deals from 50K or 100K followers. So these two questions, and let's go with the first one. So how do you value yourself with the brands when they come to you?
I value myself first. The first thing is that the brand, because some brands just came and they put a lot of money to do collaborations, but I didn't want it because there are brands that I don't want, like, make a collaboration because it doesn't fit with me, like a person who I am. So this for me is the most important thing. Like if I want to collab, I want that the brand, it's cool that I can represent because I use it, or because have values that I can, or useful, because imagine that I make a promotion of one brand that disappears in 1 month. It's a fucking shit. Like, no. I just want to make creative things with brands when I collab, and good things, that represents. So my value when I just make a collaboration or campaign with a brand is just the, like, for me, is the effort I'm going to put on that collaboration. For example, if I have to do the post, or I only have the dance for that brand, and they going to put it in his social media. So it depends in a lot of factors, in a lot of details. But the value is how much effort, if they are going to use my image, how is my image, if it's clean, or because I value a lot my image. Like, I try to do my best with my image. So it's this kind of things how I value one campaign.
Okay, so in a specific, for example, do you value, like, do you have you take into account how many followers do you have? Like, for you,
Yeah,
is an important
yeah,
indicator? And
yeah. It's a good indicator, but it's not the most important.
okay, so to you, what is the most important? Like, what you say, like,
The
how
most,
much are you going to work on this?
the
Like,
most important for me is how much are you going to work on that commercial or in that campaign.
maybe in terms of time?
In terms of time, of you have to pay a filmmaker to create that, or if you're going to stay like 2 days, or doing that, so it depends on all that
So,
factors.
so when you collaborate with more people on your team, maybe other dancers or filmmakers or photographers, you also add this as a value to the brands.
I will try to make it. Sometimes big brands like don't pay this. I just say that I will work on that, and it's so hard because big brands push you so hard to do great things with low budget. But sometimes with brands that are not so big brands but are good brands, I can make great things with great budget. Depends on the campaign. But it's all depending on the, if you have agency, how they manage that, or if you make your own thing, how you manage that. So it's hard. It's hard.
And the second question, how do you see if it's like, how important is to you to have this self appreciation and know the importance of valuing you? Because what we're saying, there's people charging very low, maybe because they don't know how to get bigger deals, or they are just comfortable because they know they will say yes to this low budget. So how important is to you to have this self appreciation as an artist? Because dancers, we are artists, and in terms of business, of making it profitable and having like a good deal, like for the brand and for you.
Yeah. It's important to know that you really need that money. Like, if you live only with this, it's so hard to decline things. It's hard because it's like your job. Imagine that in your job they're gonna say you, okay, I'm gonna pay you extra 1,000 if you do this. And you can say no because it's your job. Like, you're only eating with that job. But for me, I declined things that I can, like, it's money, but I prefer my image and my value than doing things for money. So it
And
depends on the person. If you need the money, it's difficult to say no. If you're starting, like, doing this kind of campaigns, like, in the beginning, you don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to joder, no se me sale.
bueno, digo en español y lo digo yo.
No tienes que pedir tanto dinero, ¿sabes?
Yeah, so yeah, you don't have to ask for that
You don't have,
much money
exactly.
because
You don't have to
maybe
ask for too much money. You only have to start with, like,
yeah, because maybe
more
they
or less.
say like you're starting or you don't have that much followers to ask us
Exactly.
this big amount of money.
Exactly.
And like, how do you think what kind of things, like, don't say obviously the brands, but what things, for example, did you decline? Like, can you say like the action that you were needing to do, like don't say the brand, it's not about that, but what things did you get offered and you said, I'm not going to do this, like, impossible?
Yeah. For example, artists that I don't like his song and they pay well. if I don't like the song, I won't dance it, like, because it's like I don't like the song. I can
Yeah,
dance to it. Like, if I know you're going to pay well, but if I don't like the song, like,
yeah. There's no feeling.
there's no feeling, and I can dance to something that you know. So I prefer that say to no, and it doesn't matter the money, because it's respect. For example, there's people that have really good songs, and they offer me like money, and it's like, bro, like, if it's like a little artist that he don't have like a lot of audience, and he say you like the song and I like it, I just dance it like in a history or something, and I don't have to charge that because I love it, the song. So it's this kind of things. But I decline things because, for example, you have to put your product like this and that, and I don't like the product, and it's like, oh, sorry, but it's a good money, but no, like.
Yeah, so it's interesting here that like I'm this way too. Like I don't get obviously that much brand deals or DJs collaborations, but when I do, this is one of the points that I say, like I have just 2 points. The first one, which is if I don't like the song, I'm not going to dance to it. Like sorry, but as you said, like if you don't like, it's like how are you going to dance to this?
Yeah.
And then like the fee, like if they, depending on the budget they have, like, but I'm probably charging, like I've done some song dancings for free, but I always try to get at least something, so I'm valuing myself, and they also perceive that shuffle dancers need to get paid for performing. So it's also like, I think it's also a message to all the brands and all the DJs that shuffle dancers is not just some trend. It's like there's people trying to make a living, and to me it's important that everyone should get paid or something in retribution for doing this collaboration. Like and how was it the beginning? Like when was the point that you were getting like little brand deals, and then some big brand came and say, okay, boom, a lot of money on the table, and you were like, wow, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because for me, my first like campaign that was more than 1,000 euros, for example, I was like, I can gain this a lot of money doing a campaign. Like, what the fuck? It's like, it's a salary. Yeah, and it's so cool, but not it's not every time. Like, it's not every month. Maybe it's one time in a, depends on the influencers. If you're a really influencer, have a lot of audience, and that you can have a lot of good brand deals and really have a really good life. But this is like short term, it's not long
Yeah.
term. Like, so as a dancer, it's like long term. I want to be dancer like long term and do these things, live with dance. And for me, social media is short term, because what will happen in 5 years or in 2 years? Maybe I don't have that accounts on social media, so what I will live for.
Yeah, or maybe people leave this platform and go to another platform, and brands don't want to put their money into Instagram campaigns. For example, like I don't think this will happen in the short term, but I don't know, maybe in the next years, something similar to Instagram or something that the market wants a different platform, maybe then change and they, like, look at Facebook. Facebook was like the most used some years ago, and now it's the less used practically.
For daddies.
Yeah. And let's talk this, like I didn't have like this noted to talk about, because you mentioned this short term and long term and brand deals. How important is to you having other sources of income aside from brands? Because to me, it's super cool to have brand deals, but brand deals are something that we don't control. Like we can have like a really good campaigns or content, and brands can see as attractive to showcase their products or their services or their brand, but it doesn't depend on us. Like brands need to come and say, okay, we want to pay you this. And I always find that we need to kind of look for business on things that we can control. In that case, for example, I don't know, teaching classes or doing or putting together a group and working on performances and try to get these performances on stages. So how important is to you to have this kind of duality of getting income from brands, but know that this maybe this can end, or this can be some months that maybe I don't have much collaborations, because maybe, for example, in this past year with COVID, I'm sure that like you got very little brand deals in this months. But how do you see this into your life and in the life of people who wants to make a living with dance?
Okay. The thing is that for me, having one source of income is like the worst thing you can make, because if you don't have that source and just ends, you will have nothing. So you will struggle with your financial things. So for me, it's so important that you have really like mm, a lot of sources of income, or like a bit, but there are source of income that you can live for. So dance is not my only thing, my only outcome, like income.
Income, yeah.
So people that dance is the only income is when people say yes to everything, and people like just make money with this. It's okay, but when it will end, like you can have a really good peak, but then if it's the only thing you have and it ends, it's it will be hard for you, because it happens to famous people that only have that income and just make 1 million, but then spend that million, and then they didn't have that job, and what you do for a living. So I think that you have to do things and have a side hustle, or have another source of income, or just work on your financial, to not have only one source of income. So it's that thing.
So this can be inside of dancing or outside, like depending
Exactly. I
on the
like a lot
on the
working.
on the priorities of the people, I think. But yeah, having just one source, maybe if something happens to the market or to you, maybe you just don't have like this possibility. Like I'm not saying that you need to work on two at the same time, but you really need to, like, long term, you need to start creating uh, maybe in the same, in dancing, for example, in the same path, create another source within dancing, not just, for example, brand deals that maybe you can teach, or maybe you can organize events, or maybe you can, I don't know, try to dance for artists in music videos, or working on stages, like on performing dance. There's a lot of things, and I think in a specific brand deals and being an influencer, I think for some people it may be temporary, because it's something like really new. It's not something that has been in the market for like 50 years and it's still profitable. I think that now there's a lot of people, and every time the market, I think, is getting more sophisticated. So more people of specific niches being like a very influential in these niches are the ones that are going to maybe keep getting those brands. But general influencers, I think this is kind of a bubble, and at some point it will stop, or brands will say, there's a lot of people and we don't want, like, there won't be money for everyone. So I think that long term, like, you need to be very specific in something if you want to still get those brands. Like, it's just what I think that can happen, and I always like to have control over my finances. So depending on what I do, I can get income or not. If it just depends on the brands, maybe there's months that I don't get anything because there's no brands come knocking.
Yes.
So like in this case, in a specific, like, I'm not even in 10K, but with I learned to how to kind of learn the entrepreneurial path, like yourself too, because like we like to grind.
Yes. Yes.
and like I found that that's why a lot of people in dancing, they don't are able to make a living, because they kind of waiting that something happens or someone comes to them and say, hey, here's the opportunity of your lifetime, take it. And it most of the cases it doesn't work like this. Like you need to have kind of some strategy or some project to work on, and that makes you an income. And if extra brands come and want you to make some collaborations, then this is extra. But you really need to have the control on the income, because if not, you're dependent on if something happens, like COVID happens and everybody's out.
Yeah, you
So
have to adapt. I think that you have to know that nowadays things change it. Like the job of your mother or father are just a traditional jobs, but you can nowadays with your phone you can make like six figure in one business model. So it's just to have a strategy and just to have a goals and just to know how to make it and try it because people that doesn't make it is because they just drop out doing these things. But if you're consistency in one thing, you will get results and you
yeah,
have to grow on.
and
So
you need to love what you do. If not, like
exactly.
it can be very frustrating, because at the beginnings, it's super hard and you're getting no feedback or no income. You get no clients or no students in that case that want to learn how to dance, and you need to
Mm.
love what you do. If not, it's like super hard to be alive after many years without getting many money.
Yeah.
So like that's why you are here, me I'm here, and we're still like in the game, because we've been teaching and trying to do dancing for a long time without caring that much about the money. Like it's not that it's not important, but we didn't do it for the money. It is important, but we kept doing it because we love it. And
Yeah.
this is why now at these stages, like we've been consistent throughout these years because we love that. And now we have developed kind of a mastery of shuffle dance, like more people has developed that. And this is the people who now there's a lot of dancers who want to learn from, because these
Yeah.
people have mastered something that they maybe want to achieve. And this is something that people wants to pay for, to get this
I will
experience.
pay for in my beginnings. I will pay for a teacher, like for real.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's very important. And before going to your projects from nowadays, let's talk about something which is very interesting that I've talked with you many times, especially during this last month,
Yes.
with all the trends and all these easy videos happening and the TikTok and everything. And you have like a kind of a concept or a tag for the people who dances and people who moves. So you say that when someone is just taking the steps and repeating it, and like really not understanding what they're doing, like they're just copying, and after this recording the video for the TikTok or the reels, for example, they
Mm.
forget about what they're doing and they don't know how to dance. Like it's not that they don't know how to repeat the choreo, but they know these steps. They don't know how to dance. Like they just learn it like mechanically. For
Mm.
you, these people are movers. Like they are not dancers, because they are just taking the moves, repeating them, and posting it. And then another video, I copy, I repeat it, and then I upload the video. And then you have dancers, who for you are the ones who know the foundation of the dance. They know the steps. They know how it works, and they can create the choreos or the trends or whatever. But they know how to dance. Like if you take away this choreo, they know how to dance. Like they can dance. So how is this logic for you working, and how do you get to this conclusion of people who know how to dance and people who don't know how to dance, but then they do the moves or they do the trends?
Mm. I become with this idea because I think that it happens to me. Like I first become a mover and then I start knowing how to do things and how to create, and then you're becoming more like a dancer, you know. So for me, a mover is a person that really likes dance, and it can be his passion, but just copying and doing because maybe he don't know how to create, and how to speak the language of movement. So, and you can be a mover with a lot of flow. Like there's people that you teach him a move and doing some things, and it's like wow, like you look like really good and dancing, you know. But for me, it's like more like mover, like moving. If you have a lot of flow, a lot of groovy, like the groove is unique, you know. But then if he try to create something, he don't know to do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
he can create a choreo, he can create freestyle movement with a song, he can like express with the song because you don't know how to do that language of movement.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the difference of a mover that just repeat and move than a dancer that really have a skill and really learn and really have the knowledge how to create and how to speak that language of movement,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So for me is that is different things, a mover that dance and repeat
Mm-hmm.
things that are not really a dancer that know how it works and can be a choreographer, a freestyler, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for me that's the difference,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're dancing you are speaking and you can create words in that moment, or you can think about the words because you don't know, you have the language, you know the language.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a mover, you only know how to repeat, and maybe you can do a variation, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't know the structure, you don't know the tools, so it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. So it would be kind of similar when you learn a language that you just can say the words that you know or repeating some phrases that you know like what they mean, what do they mean.
I can
But
say
it takes you a little bit of time to really start understanding this. So it's not that just the people that does the trend, like it's not that people who does the trends, they're not dancers. So it's just
like,
like everybody needs to know if they really know the dance or they are just copying the steps and executing.
mm,
So like it's a little bit tricky because like what's the line between
it's so similar. It's like for me, mover. You're when you're a mover, you're if you like dance, you're becoming a dancer. You know, so
Mhm,
you can be a mover and feeling like a dancer. You can become a dancer. So it's not a problem. It's not wrong. Like being a
mhm.
mover, you know, for me, like because we all start being a mover. You know, because you repeat and you don't know nothing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
repeat, you feel like God because you know how to dance. You know, in the term. But I think that for me, dancer is someone that really contribute in dance. That when you're a dancer, you teach and really do things for community, and really well, you can do things for community or not, but it's more than just mover, a dancer. You're a creator, you know.
Yeah, you know the steps, you know the foundation, you know how's the creative process of the dance, and
Mm.
kind of like as you were saying, like you can talk a language, speak a language, and talk about any specific thing that you want, and
Mm.
like you're comfortable with that, and you don't feel like no, just talk about this thing because I don't know the other ones.
It's
So
like I put the example of Russian. Like I can say "Привет, меня зовут Mark." I don't know nothing more like in Russian. Like I said, hello, my name is Mark in Russian, but I don't know how or Matryoshka, but I know more things in Russian, you know, but I don't know words. But the thing is that you have to know the language. And another example is when you go to an event or you see dancers, when a dancers know knowledge and you see a dancer, you can be like, oof, or you can scream. And because you understand how hard it, or you're hitting one musicality that it's so hard because you have skills of musicality. But when you're not a dancer and a mover, people scream and it's like, what, why people scream? Like, and you're like,
or or the other way, you know, uh, maybe someone does like a kind of a
in
trick,
the beat or the movement. So yeah,
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 a trick,
a
and you
trick.
say like, yeah, it's an easy trick, and people who know dancing, they're like, okay, like it's okay, but it's not like something really crazy. You just need to execute the move and that's it. And people who don't know because it's something like spectacular, they like, wow, hype and whatever, and it happens the opposite thing. It's like the people who knows how to dance and create more, they're like, why is these people screaming? Like this is just like a simple move. Maybe they can't do it, but it happens the two things, the two ways. So yeah,
Yeah, and
it's a very interesting thing.
yeah, and these things like for me, when I listen to Paradox, he said the thing that you can just make a trick, and people can do that trick and be like better than you because he can make, for example, you make a backflip, and then another people make a double backflip, you know,
Hmm.
and he beat your trick. When it comes to a dance, when it comes to storyline, you can't beat storyline, because imagine that a dancer just create a storyline with dance and he's saying something. It's so hard to beat storyline, you know. So that's the difference between a beat killer and tricks than people that speak with dance and make storyline and feelings. You know, it's so different. It's so different.
Yeah, it's so different. Okay, so now let's go to your projects, to what you're doing nowadays. You already kind of advanced that in the beginnings. What?
My OnlyFans.
Subscribe to OnlyFans.tv slash Marktore.
No, but yeah, let's talk.
Okay, so as I was saying, you already advanced. I'm still laughing about the OnlyFans. So you already advanced that you just started teaching because people was telling you, teach us how to dance, teach us like how to do the steps. So explain us how was the beginnings of you teaching and how your classes did evolve until what is today. Okay, so don't talk about what you were preparing today. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But how were these classes evolving, starting and saying, okay, how does more people start going to your classes and you grew a lot, these groups. So how's this teaching experience for you?
My teaching experience was at the beginning like I didn't know nothing about dance. I was learning and people started like, come on, teach me these moves. I wanna know this dance real bad. And I was like, okay, chill. I'm just learning. But then they convinced me to do a class, and it's okay, let's go teaching. So in the beginnings, it was like just teaching what I know, and it was the steps, you know, like okay, do this and that, and one, two, you know, just teaching what I know. So what happens when you teach what you only know? The thing is that you're creating that words into other people that is the same steps. So what happens if you teach all you know in the steps to other people, that they will reply and it will be the same like you, but with different groove and, you know, and different style. But you're creating like the same person as you, but in other, like just
Yeah, it's
so
like a clone factory.
factory, exactly. So at the beginning was so stressful for me as a teacher, because I was like, come on, a lot of students are asking me how he can create things, or how he can have her own style, or you know, the own style of the student. So I was like, I don't know, I just try this and that, but I don't have tools, or I don't have knowledge to say you have to practice that and that, you know. So at the beginning it was like, okay, I just teach my
Yeah,
steps.
the moves.
I teach what I created, but because I don't know, I know how to make some variations, because at the beginning I was trying to create something new, but without tools, you know. So I was trying a lot of things and trying my own, and you know, and then I'm teaching what I just created, because I was trying to do different things. But yes, then in the first 2 years was complicated to have a lot of level in dance, because I didn't know how to teach really, you know. So, but yeah, the classes were really good. Like people were learning a lot, like having a really good skills, like not really good skills in freestyling, you know, because in that time I didn't know nothing. But when I started learning, when I started knowing and you know, talking with other dancers, the how you can create movement, how you can how is the mechanics of this step. Okay, so if you did this step but you change that and that, it's the same step, and how you can create a variation, change the position, changing the, you know. So this is when I start learning how it works dance, and then is how I started doing the leveling up in dance, and can teach my students how to think and how can create their own movement. So that this is when all changed, and I started doing tools instead of doing combos, you know.
And which year was that?
In 2018, when I start knowing electro dancers, Chuflis, you, and a lot of dancers, and then is when I
Yeah,
have a a
and
lot of
this
knowledge.
stage, it was also really like a really previous, like it was a really young stage of developing the shuffle, because we were also like in this moment, like when we did the Spain tour, like the first one, maybe it was kind of in these months when we were starting
Mm,
to talk more. And I remember that we were like pretty young in doing also the concepts and trying to understand the dance. Like we would be maybe a year in, more or less,
mm,
at least me. I was kind of maybe a year, maybe a little more. But like in these moments, like it was a lot, like being 1 year in this, and we were achieving like so little. And now
mm.
people with 1 year, they achieve like
Yeah,
what we've tried to do in 3 years.
yeah,
So it really, like it really starts to change the game, and it's very difficult because you don't have anyone with shuffling to see, okay, we need to what is doing these people. Like now we are one of the people that people is looking to say, okay, these guys are doing this and it's working, so
mm.
everybody, let's do that. But we have no reference. Like we need to come
Yeah.
up with the ideas. And
It's like ourselves, like
yeah,
see.
like we need to talk with other styles, like you were saying, electro. In these years,
Yeah,
they helped a lot to the shuffle community.
yeah, a lot.
And like we need to talk with other dancers from other styles or within shuffle, and take new conclusions and work on them, master them, and at least understand them pretty good, to be able to put together a class. If not, it's like we can't understand it. So
Mm.
it's really hard. And when you start doing this, you see, like you see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, okay, let's go this way.
Yeah, because if not, I will dance like the same year and a year, like
Hmm.
because it's too difficult to do something without information, without knowledge. Like it will be the same every time.
Hmm.
So when we started learning and we started doing the tours, and I started changing my mind, and then I start knowing more about freestyling, because for me a big reference and a big inspiration now for me is Kevin Paradox as a freestyler, because he opened my mind a lot. The philosophy of dance he has is incredible. Like I recommend a lot listen to some videos of Kevin Paradox. And yeah, like you said, we're now cooking our thing, like cooking our freestyle of our dance of shuffling, no? So it's so hard. You're really good, Marcos, at freestyling. For me, you are one of the most like genius people doing freestyle, because you have a lot of mechanic things that it's like, come on, bro, like how you think that? But yeah, yeah,
I ask myself this every morning, like how can you do, like how do you do that? No, but it's like there's thing like this is very, like it's difficult to explain, because you just get to these ideas when you're dancing. It's like outside the dancing, maybe you can think about something, and you can, like when I always think of an idea, I always have, I have kind of, let's see if I can show it like really fast. But I hear, like you see this screen, it's all like I have a lot of notes here. Like I always have notes, one for steps or concepts ideas, and the other note for things that I want to develop in a class. So maybe I have an idea and I write it down, and I'm like, okay, I need to really work on this idea for putting together a class. So I'm like, you never know when you can have inspiration or a creative moment when you say, wow, you can do this. And I need
yeah.
to write it down, and then when I go training, I say, okay, what do I have here to maybe to practice?
And it's so fun because when I started like learning knowledge and how to teach, I just make a lab with my students. Like I start making tools that I practice with my students to see how they think. And I started doing classes of freestyling. Okay, you have to do this and that, and people are doing her own thing. Like you have to do this concept and try to mix with that, and every time you have to do something different. And people, and it was so funny to see my students creating, because it's like
And they
so
were like,
funny.
how am I doing this?
Yeah, yeah, and you see how your students are creative or not. So it's so funny to try tools of freestyling in shuffling with students and see if it works or it it doesn't work. Because I remember some exercise I made for my students that is like, okay, it doesn't work with this. But there are others that people have a lot of fun and people learn a lot and people is like, oh, this class I like it a lot because I create this and that. Or students like, I can do this, and I say, you can do whatever you want. Like there's no bad or good in dance, you know.
You can do a pizza with the rain.
For real.
Okay,
So yeah.
yeah, but like you really need to get a lot of practice using this concept and trying to like kind of turn on your creative mode, because as we said, like sometimes you can't think about steps or concepts when you're like still and not dancing, and you need to put yourself in, be dancing for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and maybe then you start being creative because you're like kind of in the flow. Yeah, you needed these 10, 20 minutes maybe at the beginning to kind of uh, get this moment of flow of being really inside with the music, with the dancing, like you really kind of created your atmosphere, and then you can't stop. Like if you watch your phone or WhatsApp or Instagram, you cut and you need to start again these 10, 20 minutes maybe. So
Yes.
when you get to this point, this is when you can start having a lot of creative ideas, and like I really give a lot of importance to this, and I try to put myself every time I try to dance or lab or do a session that I want to maybe become a little bit more creative or try to come up with some new ideas. I try to push me to this stage, and okay, nobody please disturb me. I don't want nobody to talk to me. Just talk to me if it's about dance. If it's not about dance, I don't want to talk, because if
Yeah.
not, it breaks like this
Yeah.
flow, and you don't get creative because you need to start again.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Hmm.
I know that feeling. Yeah. Yeah. And there's sometimes I don't know. Yeah, it happens to you because when you're dancing and training, it's okay. But when that song that you like it a lot sounds, is like whoo, and then you start with the beast mode and creating things that sometimes you make a round that it's like I don't know what the fuck I did, but I make my best round. You know, there's sometimes that when you train and you have that status of flow is when you create something.
And this is not captured on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the sad thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so before talking about your projects, let's talk shortly about one of your most recent collaborations on dancing, which is with Shakira. So
Yeah,
you
she's
collaborated.
collaboration with Martin.
So like you collaborated in with Shakira in the choreography of "Girls Like Me," if I'm not wrong, like this song, which is Shakira and Black Eyed Peas,
Yeah,
"Girl Like Me," and
yeah.
you helped do the choreography because it has some shuffle steps.
Mm.
And how is working with Shakira? Well, first, how do you get the call or the invitation, and
Okay.
how is the process of working with her? And then like you don't are like in the music video, but how is like this process of working with her?
Okay, at the beginning, the choreographer of Shakira, that his name is Maite, just contact me on Gmail, and a girl said Maite say, "Hi, are you available these days to create a something with shuffling for a video clip with Shakira?" And I was like, "Shakira, like shuffle, Shakira, Waka Waka, possible." You know? Like, come on, like, it has to be a show, a joke, you know. But then it wasn't a joke. Like we start talking, and yeah, you know. So it was like, okay, wow. So then, yeah, finally we meet up, and we start like creating with Shakira.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was like so crazy for me because it was like Shakira want to learn shuffle, and she told me that she was trying to learn with my tutorial on YouTube, but it was so hard to learn. So she decided to just
Yeah, to
was
contact you.
to contact me and start working together. So who is working with Shakira? For me, it was a really challenge because the song is not like my territory at all, you know. So it was like, okay, I have to be a choreographer now for Shakira for a song that it's not my BPM at all. What the fuck? So um, it was cool because Shakira is not like, okay, do the choreography and teach me. It's not like this. She's like, I want to see you dancing, and then I will like some pieces of your movement, and I wanted that you just mix it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, and we put music, we have fun, we dance, and she was like, seeing me, looking at me, like, okay, I want this step, and okay, can we put this step, and that. So yeah, we started doing like this, and I used to say to she like, okay, we can start like this, doing that, and she's like, okay, but this no, I changed this step, and and then she tries to dance too.
Mm-hmm.
I make a only class training that she learned the foundations because I said to she that she have to learn first the foundation and how is shuffling, the feeling of shuffling, and then I can teach you the choreography. So first I just make a whole 9 hours training shuffling,
Nine
and she
hours.
9 hours, 9 hours.
So just
Uh,
Running Man, T-Step, Charleston.
a lot of more movements
Mm-hmm.
that to know more a little bit of the feeling of the shuffling
Mm-hmm.
with deep house and to know the rhythm of the shuffling. So yeah, 9 hours of dancing the first day, and she was like, okay, let's repeat, and I was like, wait,
Oh, the first
like
day. I thought it was like maybe on 2 days or 3 days, but one day, 9 hours.
the first day I make
And how are you alive? 9 hours
yeah,
of
yeah.
shuffling.
And she was like really good, and I was tired. And she was like, "Let's go again." And I was, I was like, "Okay." So yeah, she have a lot of energy. She have like another mindset. She have a lot of mindset. Like I have to do this, and I have to do it like clean. And it's so hard to do things clean,
Yeah.
like instantly. But she was like, okay, I have to do it, do it, do it, and she's so consistent. So yeah, we work it together. We start creating the choreo. We make a lot of variations of the choreo to have the final choreography, and she put uh, mm, his movements, and I try to fit the movements of she to make the choreo. So it was fun. Like it was a really mix of shuffling and Shakira. So, like, it was not a thing of Marktore choreo. It
Mm-hmm.
was a help with Marktore and shuffle and Shakira. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a really good to work with Shakira. So it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was
So it wasn't like like that's a good like kind of summary that it was a collaboration, like things of Shakira, things of you, general things
yeah.
of shuffling, and it wasn't just her saying no I want to do the steps or you doing no we need to do just this.
Yes,
So
because
overall you can say that you had like a positive experience
yeah.
working with her. And yeah, after it like there was a lot of people doing the choreo also in the social medias.
Yeah, because she wanted a choreo that people can do and can reply and can just have fun with the songs. And I was like, okay, let's do that and that. And yeah, like it was only hard because I create two choreos. One goes viral, but there was two choreos
Mm-hmm.
in the Girl Like Me. But yeah, it goes really viral, and I for me that work was so funny, and for me I feel so good because the choreo was really viral and a lot of people doing the choreo. So for me it was so successful to
Mm-hmm.
do this. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel so good to work with she and have a great results.
Yeah, and it's also like really good seeing shuffle showcased in an artist as Shakira. So it's a matter of time that more people, more shufflers get this collaboration with artists and start appearing in more video clips. So like that was really interesting for the people who didn't know. Like I knew all of that because like I've talked with you many times about this, but like this is I'm sure this is something really interesting for all the people listening. And let's go to your current projects right now. You're working, well, like you launched this project kind of some time ago, but it didn't kind of get the motion, which is Shuffle Academy, that you launched the brand. You had like some presentation or some mini course, some merchandising. But how's this project nowadays? Like, have you been working on it? Is something near happening in the near future? So explain us a little bit how is
Okay,
this project right now, and well, and also explain how is the idea starting. So please
okay,
say how is born, and
okay.
then how it's doing.
Okay, so the reality of Shuffle Academy, it's only the name I just put on my classes.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started recording videos, tutorials on YouTube. I was thinking about like, okay, I can do just academy online, you know. So then this idea started to come in my mind, and it was like, yeah, I should do online things because there's a lot of people in other countries I want to learn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so hard for me to execute this idea because I have this idea in 2019, 2 years ago, I think. But I started doing the first M- MVP, like minimum viable product,
Yeah.
uh, um, last year, like 2020, when I started launching classes and I started doing many courses to see how people will react to this.
Mm-hmm.
And the results was so really nice. But then when I have the first results and to create and execute this idea was hard for me because I don't have the tools to create a web page of an academy. I don't have the budget to pay that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit hard at the beginnings because my idea and the budget about okay, if I can start with less, and so it was really difficult. The idea have so is so easy. Okay, make classes of shuffling, but the execution for me was so I have to do this and that. So finally, I just launched the classes. I launched the courses. I have really students. So now I will launch this project, and this is like a spoiler because I didn't say it in social media. But I will launch this idea, like the final idea and all the brand and all the things and the courses on August. So this next month that are coming, I will launch everything. So
So.
finally, I have all
Mm-hmm.
the project done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a big project for me because it will last forever. Because for me, Shuffle Academy, it will be the academy like the pillar academy of to have teachers of over the world to have you know all the people that can aportar,
Yeah, they can contribute.
they can contribute to this dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Shuffle Academy. Shuffle Academy is to contribute to this dance, and people can learn from
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So, like, are your classes, like your in-person classes, coming back soon? Like, I saw your
Yeah.
the other day a story that you already are back in
Yes,
your
sir.
in your studio.
Yeah, finally, after 1 year and a lot of months, I will come back with my classes, my presential classes. So yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so excited to come back because for me, classes was incredible. Like it was the best part of the week, you know, like for my students and the vibes on the class and it's just sharing and it was so cool. And now with the fucking COVID, well, so yeah, it will be cool to go to came back on October. I will open again the classes. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, this is the last question I have. Then we'll do like kind of the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Like, what are your future projects? Like, what is Mark will be doing in the next years, like mid long term, like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Like, how do you see yourself? At which stage? I know maybe short term you're pretty much will do kind of similar things to what you're doing right now, but trying to grow them. But what projects do you picture yourself doing in the mid long term future?
Okay, it's a good question because, like I said, Shuffle Academy is an online thing, but I want in a few years or as soon as possible to create that first academy, like only of shuffle styles, with people that really love the shuffle culture and only shuffle styles. So for me, it would be really good to have a really good space for shufflers, because here we have a good community, and I only have a room. Like my classes is only a room, so I would love to have. For example, your classes in a studio, and Chufu is teaching on the studio. We can work together and our crew together to have a space to, train. So for me, that's a goal that I want to reach as soon as possible in these years. Then like learn a lot, like being better dancer, learning from other dancers. I want to be more better and understanding more the dance, because every day I'm learning more in dance. For me, I know everything about dance. You're learning till you die, so, and you have to learn a lot. So I will be traveling a lot these years to Los Angeles, Russia, and a lot of countries that the culture are really good. So, you know, and the things that I will continue being a creator, a content creator, because for me it's one thing that I just love it, like dance. And yeah, this more or less the projects that I will do in the next few years.
And like, would you like to have this big Shuffle Academy studio in Spain, or maybe you plan on having
I'm
it in
I'm
another
planning
place?
to create some brand that can be in countries that there's a huge community, and have teachers that we can teach to have good knowledge, and we can grow up the culture, and we can be more people, and we can dance. Yeah, have
And
like,
and where do you want to be, like yourself? Like, where do you want to live, or where do you see living? Where do you see yourself living in the future?
so I don't know. Like I really don't know, because maybe I can say you something, but then I will say I don't know.
Yeah, it
I
can
will.
change.
Yeah, I will be traveling. That's for sure. I don't know if I will be in Spain, or I will be maybe in United States, or I will be in Canada, or I will be in, I don't know, but I will stay moving around, and I will be improving myself a lot.
So, be ready for what's coming, because Mark is putting in a lot of work.
Yes, and one thing that I missed uh, with the crew and festivals and things, this too, when everything is open and fucking COVID just go out, uh, we will be doing a lot of great shows too. So that's will be a crazy things to do in the next 2 years.
So let's go with the last two things of the podcast. So this podcast is shorter than the rest of them, but Mark has a short time available. He's a very busy guy. Okay, no, but I think like we are talking a lot of things. Like it just like we've been 1 hour and a half, but we've talked like a lot of things. Like all these things maybe it take me 2.5 hours or near to three. So like we're really optimizing the time. We've talked a lot of things, a lot of interesting things. Like I think that every minute of this podcast is like super valuable, and yeah, with a lot of interesting things. Okay, so last thing of the podcast, I always have like two final questions. The first one is for you, and I'm asking you to share something with the Shuffle Podcast audience, something that you have learned recently about shuffling, something that is helping you to maybe be more creative or to dance better, or maybe some DJ that you discovered that you like the sound, something that you want to share with the listeners of the show.
Dance or music, like it could be
Like
whatever.
whatever, like something that recently in these last months you've learned, or something that like you're being better dancer, or you're enjoying more the being on the shuffle community because you know that, or you discovered that, something recent.
Something recent is that if you wanna have motivation in dance again, because there's this is a whole question and a whole theme, the motivation of dance, but there are sometimes that you have less motivation. There like you're not motivated. I feel depressed, like, but sometimes you have all the energy to dance. But Something that just helped me a lot these days and these weeks is that the music, like the good music, like music that really hit you,
Mm-hmm.
uh, dance better and to improve. I think that it's so important because if you train, it's good, but I think that you have to put really good music. And to put really good music is just to find music that really represents you and really you need to express that song.
Mm-hmm.
So these final weeks, like this last weeks, I was dancing to songs that really was like whoa, 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 and I just enjoyed a lot dancing than a lot of months ago. So that's the thing. I think that I can say that put music that really really inspire you to dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's because if you dance music just to dance, that is. And another advice I can to your audience is that um, have inspiration, have something or someone to look at, because this is a source of inspiration that is so good. Looking at some dancers because it will give you so much inspiration, like and it will give you more things to do. Looking at other dancers, looking at other sources of more inspiration is so good. Like I recommend a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the second advice: have really good music and have someone to look at and see so many dancers dancing. It gives you a lot of inspiration to keep dancing and improving. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the advice I will give you to your audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like not much more to add. I think that having good music, it always motivates you to be dancing or to be like grooving and say, "Man,
Yeah,
I wanna
I
dance. I wanna dance." Like, yeah, damn son, this song is hitting me. So yeah, I think like this is a great point, and all the people should have this in mind when they feel down or they feel unmotivated. And the other question is for you to make it to me. So I've been doing all the questions, all the interview. So now it's your turn. Like you get to ask me whatever you want, like about anything you want. You can ask me as the last thing for the podcast.
I will ask a question that it's not for me, but it's for all the people that are listening to the podcast because I know your worth and I know you're doing really good with the shuffle thing and you're doing a lot of value content. You're doing a lot of things for this dance. So I will ask, what is your purpose in dancing?
Mm. So, like at the beginning, when I started dancing, it was like I just loved electronic music. Like I fell in love with electronic music listening to this album of David Guetta called Nothing But the Beat. Do you know this album? Which had
Yeah,
songs like the songs with Sia, the Titanium, some like these collaborations with Florida. Also previous to this, like these songs with Kid Cudi and like all these songs. It was kind of the first interactions I had with music. So it was like when I started dancing, I was just loving this kind of songs, and it was like just out of wanting to dance. So like at the beginning, it was just joy about enjoying the dance. But when I always want to be very good at the things I do. So I also had kind of the warning of it if sometimes there's some kind of places maybe to compete or to dance. I would like to be there, or not like I wasn't thinking like directly on competitions, but I was thinking about I really wanted to develop this skill and become a really good dancer. And I started experimenting that when I was in the Shuffle Showcase team, that when we were doing things for the community and the people was enjoying this was something I didn't expect that I would enjoy that much. Like I was enjoying kind of similar when I had like my best moments in dancing, and also my best moments in dancing are kind of similar to the best moments when I organize things for people. So I find a lot of joy just shuffling for myself. So even though I can't make things or maybe work in shuffling in the next years. I don't know that, like, I'm working so hard to make it happen, but just by myself, I enjoy a lot in dancing. So just dancing, it makes me happy and it makes me enjoy. And then when I found that contributing to the community and making things for the community and making the movement grow, and then you grow too because you are inside the community, this is kind of when I saw that all the feedback was coming back and everything was getting better and I was getting better. And then because I was better, maybe I could do better things for the people. And this feedback loop is like never ending. And this is kind of my purpose, like never stop. Like don't stop this loop, because people will get better dancers, better experiences, better meetups, better everything. And you also get better because you have more places to shuffle, you'll have more people shuffling, maybe more people wanting to learn. So it's kind of, I want the best, like I want the best for me. And to achieve that, I understood that I need to give my best to everyone, to all the community. So I can enjoy the shuffle community and the movement at its best, I need to give my best to everyone in the community. So this is kind of where I am at right now. And this is really, like, to me, it's really kind of the code to be successful in any field, not just in dancing, but in any field. To give your best and something that people value and get a good experience and they learn or they get better at. And then you'll get this feedback and you can give better things every time. Sorry about these sirens. So this is kind of my philosophy, and this is my purpose with dancing, to give this. And like as I said, I love to be very good at the things I do. So I really want to become like a really good shuffler. I think I'm already a really good shuffler, but as you said, you never stop learning. So to me, it's like a never-ending path. And for, as I said, for becoming better and having more opportunities and better opportunities, I need to give this to people too. So that's where I'm at right now.
Let's go.
Hey.
Yes.
De puta madre.
Hermano.
Okay, so like yeah, that's it. Is there anything else you want to comment, or something that I missed about something you want to talk about?
No, I think that we talk in really interesting things. Well, we know each other and we lot a lot of things. So I think that we know all. So no, but yeah, I think that we make a really good interview. Things interesting for people. So it's really nice. It's
Okay,
really
Mark.
concrete.
So where can people find you? And I will link everything in the description. So say everywhere where they can find you. What socials? What platforms?
You can find me in TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, that's all I think. Arroba, ¿cómo se dice arroba en inglés?
At. Se dice at.
Así.
Sí, sí.
Marktore.
Yeah, you say like, you can find me on Instagram at Marktore.
You can find me on Instagram at Marktore. YouTube. Follow me.
Yeah, you'll have everything, Mark's socials and Shuffle Academy too on the description, so you can kind of be aware and be waiting for everything that is coming out in the next months. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time, Mark. It's been so great talking with you. I think we've talked a lot, as we said before, a lot of interesting things for the people, and maybe they know a little bit more about you and a little bit more about how did the shapes in Spain start and how's the process to what is today.
Yes.
So thank you for coming. As I said, you will find all the socials of Mark and his academy in the descriptions. And for ending the podcast, I'm giving you the mic so you can say whatever you want for closing the podcast. And thank you for coming. That's it.
Enjoy dancing, people. Goodbye.
Bye. The shortest the shortest goodbye ever. Okay, thank you for listening, everybody. Bye.
A dar por culo, hermano.